Coaches, one of the most important pieces of being a coach is to always meet your client with a spirit of possibility and vision rather than meeting them and staying stuck in their story. When a client's immersed in their story, the details of their life, the problems that they're experiencing, and their circumstances, they have a limited view of what's possible. When we hear and acknowledge what's going on for them, but then ask questions to help them move from being in a victim stance to the owner of their life, possibility occurs, and that's magic. That's what coaching is all about. Light bulbs go on and new ways of thinking surface. Sometimes it can be difficult for a coach to keep their professional center because they want to be polite or they feel sympathy for their client. Has that ever happened? I know it certainly has for me. But it doesn't help our clients to stay with them in their story. We have to put on our professional frame. We've been conditioned as people to not push back or ask questions when someone gives us the details and the circumstances that they're going through. We've been taught to agree and even to say, "I'm sorry." But that won't help your client, and it's not what they're coming to you for. When you're with a client and they're stuck in their story, here's what I want you to do. Listen deeply, acknowledge, mirror, and paraphrase so that they can hear their circumstances in their own words. This will help their subconscious relax and to feel validated, heard, and understood. Instead of getting stuck in their story, I want you to put on your biggest professional jacket and forget about their story of lack and ask them instead, what would they like to create? This might be hard for your client to answer because their identity is somehow being challenged. The idea that they have about themselves or their situation always protects the identity and the life that they're living. Let me give you an example. I was working with a client who had a lot on her plate. She's a C-suite exec at a really big company. She has a lot of responsibility. She's got 2 kids at home and she's overworked and overstressed. Her company's in the middle of a very big reorganization and they aren't achieving the bottom line that they need to. She's feeling a lot of pressure. At home, her daughter's graduating and she's having big feelings about that. Her son's smoking more than she would like him to, and things with her husband are just okay. The kids need to be places and do things, and she feels overworked and stressed out. Do you see the theme? When I asked her about being overworked and stressed out, we went deeper. She told me that she holds a belief that she's the only one who can do what needs to be done, do things right, do things fast, that it's easier for her to just take charge and do it herself because people in her life never get around to it, that she's tired because she does all of the thinking at home and at work, and that other people aren't responsible, fast, or as capable as she is. That's her identity. She's responsible, fast, and capable. What's yours? What's that of your clients? We pushed through her story and I asked her what she wanted to change. She said nothing. She liked being responsible, fast, and capable. It was so much better than being slow, unsure, and not getting things done. We went deeper and I coached her around the idea that her identity is responsible, fast, and capable. I asked her all of the places that she saw it. She said it was everywhere. And she's right. The mind collects evidence to support the identity. When I asked her how else she would like to be and feel, she said she wanted to be lighthearted, spacious, and even creative. But she didn't think it was possible because of all she had to do, the story she laid out about everything she was responsible for. We went deeper than that, and I told her that I wondered if it was 100% true that she couldn't be lighthearted, spacious, or creative. She was certain that it was. What was happening is that her identity was doubling down to protect her because being responsible, fast, and capable had become a way of navigating the world. When you have this with a client, take them through this exercise. The first thing, listen for the identity story. Second, ask what they would like to do, be, and feel. Third, then ask them to pay attention to the evidence that the identity creates to keep that identity solid. In the case of my client, she wrote down all of the places that her identity created evidence for a week, and at her next session, she cracked up because there was so much. She had things like, my kid didn't get her paperwork turned in early enough for graduation. She's not responsible or as fast, but I am. The VP dropped the ball on an initiative we need to move forward with the marketing team, costing us time and money and energy. Again, this validates her story of being responsible and capable and the only one who can do things. She couldn't go to her niece's bridal shower because there was an emergency at work that only she could handle, and the CEO was asking for her. You know her identity loved that. More evidence that she's important. Our identity holds on tight, and it's just conditioning that we've learned along the way. When she reported back with her evidence, she saw where time after time her mind looked for the reasons that it couldn't be light or spacious or creative. This gave her a small window into asking herself where else her conditioning was limiting her. You won't solve an identity story with your client in one session or even two, but what you can do is hold up the possibility that the way they're viewing the world is in response to the identity, and that there are quite possibly other views and ways of being that would serve that person if they wanted to change and if a new identity could be created. If you like this video, watch my next one about not trusting your first reaction. I'm going to teach you an exercise that you can use to help yourself and your clients break through their learned conditioning.